Honey Badger Corporation welcomes you to the presentation of its graphical user interface, the Performance Assessment Tool.
We will begin with an overview of the Performance Assessment Tool application.
Our team chose 5 direct users from varying engineering majors and grade levels. We believed that this route of problem scoping would allow the Performance Assessment Tool to benefit a wider range of students. Overall, the needs, criteria, and constraints of the direct users were consistent in most, but not all guidelines were feasible.
The purpose of the graphical user interface is to give feedback to users for a single class of their choosing based on survey inputs. Without using grades, the tool is able to assign ratings to students and output how they are doing in a course, as well as tips for improvement. Emailed results are optional.
Moving on, we will discuss the general flow of the GUI system. This navigation map demonstrates the overall structure of the GUI system. The program begins in the upper left of the map with the home screen. From the home screen, several routes are available. For more information, including the purpose, frequently asked questions, and citations, the user progresses to the upper right of the map. Or, the user can begin the evaluation directly by progressing downward diagonally to the right. During this progression, the user can be moved to the lower left if they leave crucial fields blank or exit the GUI. Upon completion, the user can then return home to the upper left, go upward to the notes section, or exit the GUI.
Now for a specific look at the logic behind the code. The directions on screen prompt the user to input their name and email, which get saved as variables to be transferred to other GUIs. Now the user is prompted to answer a survey about a chosen class. Weights assigned to the answer choices are passed as variables to the next GUI. Like the past GUI, the user answers questions. However, these are more subjective. Again, variables are weighted and passed. For study habits, user choices are weighted and passed to the next GUI. There are still other navigation options available. The final survey input screen asks 2 questions and weights the user's answers. These and all past variable outputs are transferred to the results page.
Now, the Performance Assessment Tool will be demonstrated for your convenience.
Hello, I am Parker Leslie and I am here to demonstrate Team 9's Graphical User Interface Performance Assessment Tool. Entering the file from the command prompt, we open up to the Welcome screen. From here, we can first choose the option to learn more, where it shows us the purpose of this project. From there, we can also view the citations to learn a little bit more about how we got the idea for it and what ideas we got. From there, we can continue on. So at the login screen, just enter in my name and email address to be sent the results. Here are the class inputs. We just enter in the class, answer some generic information, and move on. Continue to enter information and keep on moving. You can see that the gray area is grayed out because I chose there is no supplemental instruction for the class, so it's irrelevant, so it's not optional. Just answering more questions. So you can see here an error popped up because I didn't answer all the questions, so I'll click OK, answer, and continue. So here on the results page, I answered pretty well, so I get good results, and just email them to myself, and return home. So going through it again, showing another error if you do not select one of the radio buttons. It will give you an error asking you to do so, so just click OK and continue on. So sitting here, you can see it's SI is grayed out again because I didn't select it. Just continuing to answer questions a little bit differently to get different results this time. So as you can see, a red box showing severe needs for improvement popped up and a little bit of extra advice. So again, I'll email the results. Going through again, just doing the same old, but I'm going to answer a little bit differently this time also to show a little bit different results. So going through, you can see this time there is an option for SI because I selected it as a option for the class, so it is there. And again, just answering a little bit differently. And as you can see, advice has changed a little bit, but format's still the same. So email them to myself and return home. So here we're just looking at the emails that were sent as results to my email. As you can see, there's 3 different main ones for the answer 3 different ways. So just looking at it here, the general overview and the results for it for the 3 different ways that I answered.
Now each team member will give an in-depth explanation for the interactive screen they coded.
My name is Silas Merriam, and I coded the first class inputs page as well as the results page.
We take the email passed from the email input page and the name, and then we also find out in the continue button some various calculations. We pass the handles that we collect in this from the survey questions to the next GUI, as well as have the options to go back, to exit, to return home. The handles that credit is weighted on a 1 through 5 scale. We also have lecture recitation, which adds to a unique number so we can determine what their class size was. So it's unique output. And we also have a supplemental instruction and office hours variable that affect future questions.
Hi, I'm Parker Leslie, and I coded the class patterns page.
So here we're looking at the code for the class patterns GUI page. Going sequentially through the code, we first begin with the opening function in which previous variables are loaded in and declared. Going through next, we have the main button, which is the continue button, the first of 4 push buttons. So in it, first we get the values for size of class, in which we determine which button has been selected. Next, we calculate the total class size value just by adding all 3 together. Continuing through, we go and retrieve the values for the next 2 questions. And after that, we proceed to the error checking function, which essentially goes through and if any of those values are 0, opens up an error window. And if not, it opens up the next page and closes out the current page and all of the handles. The other 3 push buttons are the exit button, which just goes to the safety net page, the home button, which takes you back to the home page, and the previous button, which takes you to the previous slide.
Hi, my name is Shannon Gunn, and I coded the study habit input page.
The code begins by transferring variables from the 3 previous GUIs into handles. The next part of the code is an extensive calculation to test for whether or not the user selected or answered all questions. The remainder of the code is again just closing the current GUI and opening a new one, or waiting and setting variable values.
Hi, my name is Haley Molinaro, and I created the 4th user interactive GUI. This GUI focuses on students' study habits. After completing the questions and information in the 3 previous GUIs, all of those variables are passed to this GUI. In the lower right corner, 4 buttons are displayed. When the Continue to Results button is pressed, all variables from this GUI and the 3 previous GUIs are passed to the student results page. The first question is weighted on a 3 multiple scale, while the second question is weighted on a 4 multiple scale. The second question is weighted higher due to the fact that tests have a higher effect on the student's final grade, therefore it should conversely have a higher effect on the student's performance evaluation.